Peacock, and the main claim that I'm going to be arguing today is that the current presentation of information pertaining to nutrition and health promotes obesity and chronic disease. Now, when I'm talking about information, I want to specify that I am talking about media information. So commercials, restaurant and fast food slogans, magazines, things like that. So, and what these media sources want to do is they want to convince you to consume more, buy more. They want to get you to buy products from their company, and they want to get you to believe their information. So for a little bit of background, I'd like to show you that the National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey, the most recent one taken, found that 16.9% of youth ages 2 to 19 were obese in the U.S. All states in the U.S. had a 20% prevalence of obesity, and 12 states in the U.S. had a 30% prevalence or more of obesity. So why this concerns us? According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, the top 4 main causes of death in the U.S. are heart disease, cancer, chronic lower respiratory disease, and stroke. All 4 of these are symptoms of, caused by, or correlated to being overweight or obese. Also, 7th on the list is diabetes. The way I'm going to determine what causes obesity for the sake of this argument is the standard American diet, which, if you were to take a nutrition course here at Cal Poly, would be defined as the theory that people knowingly make unhealthy decisions due to social, economic, and lifestyle influences. Lifestyle and social influences are heavily influenced by the media, and these sources can cause calorie imbalance, which is what leads to weight gain. So the first thing that media wants to do, it wants to convince you to buy more. So in this case, consume more. So you can see this anywhere, supersized menus. You have restaurants like Black Bear Diner who are taking pride in the fact that they have extra large dinner plates made specifically for their company. Everywhere you turn, they want you to buy more. The problem with this is that the U.S. Department of Agriculture has found that the more food you are given, the more likely you are to eat more food, which causes a calorie imbalance leading to being overweight and or obese. The second thing that media likes to get you to do is to buy their product. And so a lot of these products that they're trying to sell are processed foods. Now, why are processed foods bad? Well, they contain 3 things that aren't in most natural foods, or excess of those things: sodium, sugar, fat, and trans fat. So what the problem is with this is that when you have too much sugar in your system, it creates an excess of insulin in your body. When you have excess insulin and fat in your system, it causes leptin, which is a hormone which tells your body when you need to stop eating, you have enough energy. It blocks the signal in the brain that communicates that. So when you have too much fat or sugar via insulin in your system, your brain thinks you still need energy. So it slows down the rate at which you burn energy, and it tells you to eat more. So you are creating an even greater calorie imbalance by eating foods that are high in this, which happen to be most processed foods. So even though the media attempts to give healthy advice, they have claims that they add to products like milk-filled strong bones, low calorie. These are things regulated by the USDA. Unfortunately, there are a lot more sources that give faulty information. You can see driving down the freeway, bulletin boards that say 1-800, get thin fast, or something to that effect. And these are fad diets, things that aren't scientifically founded and can actually prove to be harmful in losing weight or staying at a healthy weight. So a lot of these miracle foods and ideas that they are trying to quote-unquote sell to you are not actually beneficial and can cause harm to your health. So not only is the media trying to sell you ideas that may be detrimental to keeping you at a healthy weight, but they are also trying to convince you to buy more and more of the products which they are making, which are processed and contain ingredients that may be harmful to your healthy weight. Thank you very much.
All right, well, I thought you started out pretty well with the proposition. It's clearly labeled. The phrasing is a little convoluted, but I think ultimately we know what you're saying. The secondary issues need to be road mapped for us so we know where you're going. I think you present a lot of supporting points, but most of the supporting points seem to be informational in nature, not making any inference or declarative claim. When you do make declarative claims, they're conclusionary. There are several places where you say the media is responsible for this, but I didn't hear any explanation about how the media is responsible, for instance, for why processed foods have these things in them that are bad for you. You know, the very act of processing them using trans fats or some of the other things that you mentioned as being dangerous. Why is that the media's responsibility? I didn't get any explanation of that. There wasn't any evidence that showed that the media can sell that better or faster, or that it's easier for them to sell, or that it's cheaper for them to sell, or there's a higher profit margin on any of those kinds of things. It just seems to be that the media does sell foods, but who's responsible for deciding what's in the foods or what foods to buy? That seems to be where there might be some controversy here. At the end, you're talking about how it seems strange to me that at one point you're saying, well, the media feeds us all this stuff about bad foods, and then you turn around and you've got an example of the media trying to give us information about how to control our weights, and you say, and they're giving us bad information on this. Boy, you want to kick them in the teeth, go in both directions on this, and I think you need to have a stronger argument on this particular point, or get that point out of the way entirely. I think you had an interesting point early in the speech that talked about how lifestyles and other things affect people's eating habits. But the notion that the media is affecting those lifestyles, I think that's the thing where you need to make your argument. You know, the reason people don't make food at home the way they once did is because they don't live the way they once did. The amount of time that you have available for food preparation and all those kinds of things, the number of people that we have to feed, the way food has to be distributed. It's not like people live on the farm and they're going out and getting out, you know, they're picking their food and eating it off of the vine right there. There are reasons that we don't live that way anymore, and that probably is contributing a lot to this particular problem. And we're back to the same issue. How is the media responsible for that? That seems to be the point, the finger that you're pointing the most, and that needed to be a lot more developed. Now, I think there are good arguments on this that, for instance, that the media does an insufficient job about warning us about particular problems, that they make it easy to sell some foods over other kinds of foods, or they make certain foods seem more desirable, despite the fact that they aren't potentially desirable. But I didn't hear that being developed very well. They're just, they seem to be taken as presuppositions or truths without offering any proof for them. And I think that is a problem with the presentation. All right, thank you.